Thank you for joining my segment of Leading with Love COVID-19 mini-series, Maximizing the Heart of Our Community, sponsored by the Global Institute for Coaches and Entrepreneurs, Incorporated. You can find more information about the Institute at www.globalcoachentrepreneur.org. Welcome to episode 2 of To the Limit, RelationSHIFT, The Prize. My name is Coach Shaun. I'm a certified life coach certified by the Global Institute for Coaches and Entrepreneurs. I help people find clarity in life so that they can focus on the kind of life that they want to live, which gives them the freedom to do what they love, that brings them joy, peace, and harmony. From our first episode, I shared to you about painting a picture and how our beliefs and values shape the way we see our relationship with our parents. I also emphasize how most of us turn a close eye or a blind eye towards how our life is, how we tolerate our feelings and our thinkings, which cripples us, and how we focus too much on the not so great things rather than the great things that's happening in our life. Thus, we need to be clear of knowing or discovering our true north or our internal compass, because this guides us to the path of freedom we want by taking accountability of the desired outcome we want for our life. Let's begin talk 2. Did you know that the most expensive painting in the world is a painting called Salvator Mundi, or the Savior of the World? You can see that image in that image being showed there, and this was sold for $450 million in an auction. The painting depicts Jesus in Renaissance dress, making the sign of the cross with the right hand while holding a transparent, non-refracting crystal orb in his left, signaling his role as Savior Mundi or Salvator Mundi. In Latin, that's Latin for Savior of the World, and representing the celestial sphere of the heavens. In the Bible, if you've heard it or you heard the stories, or you've watched some cartoons or videos, it is said that Jesus redeemed us through his passion and death. And if you talk about the word redeem, that means to buy back something that has been lost, sold, or given away. And this talk talks about focusing on the price that we need to pay to create the relationship that we have with our family, our parents, our spouse, our partner, or our children that's thriving rather than surviving. So how do we create a relationship that thrives? Well, to create a relationship that thrives, there is a price, like what I shared, that we need to do. When, if you ask yourself, when was the last time that you felt that you are in, or you're giving the very best towards the relationship that you have? You have this mental image that everything is doing well, or you're in expectation of how the people must give you, or how that person must give you a better response or a great response in return. How did you feel about that when you met that expectation? And when you've experienced that, how did you feel? How was the feeling like if when you were not able to meet that expectation, or the person that you've been talking to or you're expecting to, you did not meet that expectation? How did you respond? We feel that we are giving everything in or to the relationship. I've also experienced that. I thought that I've sacrificed everything for my marriage, for my parents, for my children. But the real question there is, are we really giving what the other person needs so for them to thrive? Or are we giving what we feel they need? Because there's a difference between that. And I've shared that in my talk 1, in which we need to be able to express or voice out what we need to see, what we need to feel in the relationship so that that person understands. And it's coming from a perspective of making sure that the person knows what our needs and what our wants, right? It's not about being, just self-centered and just doing what I want to do. It's more of voicing it out so the other person understands. And if you think about it, these are the things that we need to make sure that we're talking in the open. Like, these are the questions that you can ask yourself right now. How your relationship is being managed or being taken a look at. Do we know what our partner, our kids, our parents wants? And is it being talked about in the open? And do we also think about or have a conversation if it's a realistic expectation? And do we even know, as an individual, do we know what we want? Is that something that we can express freely? Something to think about. So what is the price that we need to pay to create a relationship that thrives? Out of all of what I've shared so far, what is it that we need to pay? A relationship where each member is able to, express themselves, communicate their thoughts and their feelings without having that fear of rejection and judgment. You know what? Well, the price that we need to pay, easy, but it's simple but not easy, is to be vulnerable. Be vulnerable. To be able to express oneself without fear. This is where the struggle mostly is, because we don't know how to talk to people openly. We have this fear of our past experiences that has shaped the way how we see things, how we our world views, and that affects the way we're able to express ourselves freely or authentically. And this is something we can do this. However, if we are able to remove our lenses, because I know how difficult it is to be vulnerable. I've experienced that. I mean, I worked in corporate for 14 years, and it's not that easy to be vulnerable. And the only way for you to do that is to remove the lens of which how you see the world view, because people see things differently, because this lens we have prevents us from seeing things through the eyes of the other person. When we keep our lens and we focus on ourselves rather than others, it makes it difficult and challenging to be compassionate and to be vulnerable to express our love and care. It's about, if you think about it, it's about having the freedom to be able to ask questions, to understand the person, to see it in a different point of view of our perspective, not to question them, but to understand them and to put ourselves in their shoes. You see, our worldview limits our ability to listen to other people so that they can express themselves. When we keep using our own lens, we present a series of questions or express our feelings even before other persons can express theirs. I mean, in effect, the other person keeps their silence or gets angry or mad at us because they cannot voice out their thoughts and feelings anyway. So why bother, right? There are relationships that we tend to tolerate. We tolerate them personally. There are attitudes, there are behaviors that does not grow the relationship because of those toleration. But I would like to ask for you for a moment to pause and come into a space of understanding. Because if we put ourselves in that space, we will know that most of the things we tolerate are our own feelings, our own emotions, which takes the best in us. We allowed them to take control of our life, and we lose the joy in our moments, and the great things are covered in cloud. I mean, instead of us talking about the personal concerns and coming into terms and acceptance, people tend to be quiet instead because of their fear and will hope, by being quiet, that everything will be fixed naturally as the months or the years progress. However, it does not get resolved. We've proven that time and again. It is only being buried inside our emotional backpack until such time that it emerges again. Only this time, it packs more punch than the last time. So it hurts more. It's more painful. So, what do we need to do? What do we need to do currently to keep calm so we don't lose control? Well, I think it's a reflective question of asking ourselves, what is the lens you're wearing currently? And how is that? What are the beliefs that that lens carries? And how is it affecting or influencing your relationship, the way you see your relationship? And once you get that realization, what changes can you do today to create a peaceful and harmonious relationship, not just with other people, but also with yourself? Because when you are at peace, you also give peace. I mean, that's a beautiful thing about being human. When we're able to see a life full of love, full of care, then we're able to showcase that and we're able to share that. So, are you waiting for things to happen again, those painful experiences, before you can make lasting change that creates a peaceful and harmonious relationship? And are you still waiting for that? Why not take the plunge and really start working on that? It's going to be painful anyway, so why not be in pain now while healing and create a better future for you and your family? The price to pay to create a peaceful and harmonious life is vulnerability and acceptance. Well, first you need to be vulnerable to see that you have an opportunity. There are things that you have not took action, or you took action that affect the relationship. And the next step is the acceptance that, hey, I'm only human. I'm not perfect, but I can become better. And with that mindset, I can do better. If you see that will free you from a toxic relationship and less stress in your life, then I think that's a small price to pay for us to create that life, right? To create a life where you have a freedom to enjoy everything that you have and all the relationship that you have. I think there's a small price to pay for that and living the life in that way. Let me give you a bonus. This is not a popular thing, but I hope that you're able to open your heart and listen to what I have to share. As far as the price that we need to pay for us to have that freedom, for us to have that peace, and for us to have that harmony within us, and really surrendering all of this for us to enjoy that kind of life. This is simple, but it's not easy to do. And I hope you're able to get some wisdom out of this and you're able to see how it can help you. 4 of the things you need to put down are what I call the peace. So the price of your peace is to lower down your peace, your pride, your ego, your arrogance, and your self-entitlement. This is the price that you need to pay to get all of this. And when we surrender this, we are given in return the humility to accept that we are not perfect. We have our flaws, and others have one too. And that we're coming into acceptance over that. And with this acceptance comes the wisdom to be compassionate and loving for ourselves and also for other people. Imagine a life without toxic stress. I mean, just imagine that. If you close your eyes, think about it for a moment, and think about a life with no toxic stress. How do you feel would that life be, right? How would you feel would be your relationship, how you see things, how you see life, how you see people. I think that would just give you the peace in your hearts right now. And you would be able to enjoy every moment of your life. And a life of freedom where, you know, you can just enjoy everything without the fear, without the judgment, without the rejection. And this peace, the PEAS, is the one that hinders us to create that life that we want. I know all of you listening here, this is something that you want, but I know the society and other people and the beliefs that we have is hindering us to do that. And at what cost? At what cost is this hurting us? Like pride. Pride is when a person takes too much pleasure or satisfaction for their own achievement. This just builds wall in our relationship. It just builds wall in the other people, and we are not able to get over that and really create that authentic relationship. Ego talks about self-importance and the way we see ourselves, and in which this puts a space in our relationship that people don't want to talk to us, or we don't want to talk to other people. And arrogance is where we feel superior from other people, that you're always right and they're wrong. And it just creates a dark cloud in our relationship, and people don't see the greatness, and we don't see the greatness in other people too. And the last one is self-entitlement, is when someone feels that they deserve all unearned privileges and who believes life owes them something. It just creates a lot of noise in our mind and a lot of noise in our relationship, because we can't just we cannot put that down. We always think about ourselves. People are taking advantage of us, people hurting us, but in the process, it's really who's really hurting who. And too often, the reality, I know it's not popular, we're the one who's hurting ourselves. So we really need to stop and think about is, are we really creating a life that we want for ourselves? Or do we, if it's that something that we want, then the more that we need to let go of these things that we hold on to, because the more that we hold on to this, the more our relationships get tarnished, and worse, it can be destroyed. Again, I am Coach Shaun. If you need support in parenting and relationship, I can journey with you in creating the environment that is peaceful and harmonious, not just within, but also outside, which is the environment that you're living in. Thank you for the Global Institute for Coaches and Entrepreneurs for building this platform of the heart. You can reach me through my Facebook page, as seen on the screen. And I hope I would be able to speak to you again in my third episode. So I'll talk to you again next time. Bye-bye.